Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Salontraining.com. We have an interview with an amazing, fired up, every time that you're in his class, it gets you on your toes. And I love that because I love great energy. Paul, we're going to be talking to Paul DiGrigoli. Yay. So if you're new to Salontraining.com, I just wanted to let you know what it is. So it is a platform for the beauty industry. So if you're looking for someone to come in and train your team or yourself on, say, haircutting or coloring, you'll be able to go to the trainer application. So I'm going to share my page really quickly with you, and then we'll get into the interview with Paul. So right here, you can go up to trainers, and you can find who you're looking for and how they can help you. You will find all of their information, their social media links, their websites. You can follow them. You can watch a video about them and that kind of stuff. And then there's also classes that are live, virtual, in person, that kind of stuff. Jobs. Right now, this is going to be ending soon, but we know so many salons out there are hiring, and we have a really good topic today about this. Hiring is the number one thing that we keep hearing that salon owners are struggling with. Where are these people? How do you hire them? Who do you hire? So on Salon Training, you can go right up to jobs if you're looking for one and find out the ones that are in your area code. You can type that in and say, oh, yep, there's a job right near me. If you're a salon owner, we have free job listings on the site right now. All you have to go up to here and add your listing. There's also shows, products. So Paul's products are on our website after today. If you're looking for a great product line, you can come here and we'll talk about that in a minute. And you can find all about this particular one. You'll see the product link, his Facebook, his Instagram, and all that kind of stuff. There's also contests. And then I'm going to wrap this up. Contests actually just started yesterday. You can go and upload your photo. It's a pro contest and a student contest for color. So let us see your before and after photos. I'm going to stop that share, and we are going to jump into one of my favorite people that gets you motivated and pumped. So Paul, let us hear about you. Who are you?
Tracy, first of all, I want to say thank you for having me. It's what a great opportunity. You're doing a great thing for this industry. It's just, it's a lot of hard work. I get it. I understand it, but you are doing some amazing things. And I have to tell you, your audience is going to walk away with a wealth of information, no matter who you have on the Zoom and Facebook. You're just doing an amazing job. And I want to thank you for taking the initiative. I really do, for starters. Okay. I'll give them a short bio, background. I've been in the industry for 5 decades. So that's 50 years. I've been doing hair, been behind a chair for 30 years, doing 60 clients a week. I currently own a school. It's 10,000 square feet. We have about 110 students in our school, and just recently sold my salon, which I've had my salon for almost 38 years, believe it or not. But it was time, and we're doing a lot of renovations to the building. And then in addition to that, I'm an author. I wrote a book called Book Solid, The Ultimate Guide to Getting and Keeping Clients. And then I speak for a lot of the Paul Mitchell schools across the United States, about 25 a year. I do Premier. I do IBS, International Beauty Show, and ABS, American Beauty Show. And I absolutely love it. Been doing this for, like I said, almost 5 years, 50 years now. It's been great. And I want to be able to give your audience the best of what I've learned in 50 years and condense decades into days, if you will. And maybe an hour or 2 hours, if they can walk away with 1, 2, or 3 ideas. I think that's really the name of the game. I think everybody has something to offer that's very tangible, and it's very important for each one of us to know, so we don't struggle. I know that we've really struggled. My first 20 years, I have to tell you, I struggled like hell. I mean, I was like a gerbil in a cage going 100 miles an hour. You know, where the hell was I going at? I had no idea. And you can't be all things to all people. That's one of the things that I've learned. So this particular program that you suggested to your audience, which I think is probably by far the most important component if you want to continue to grow, whether or not, if you're a team-based salon or whether you're an independent salon owner or booth renter, whatever it might be, you know, you have an esthetician, you have a spa, whatever, this all applies to every single buddy that really wants to take the initiative. It's not an easy thing. You know, throughout my travels, one of the biggest things that I've seen in the last 3 years, because of the COVID, because of the pandemic, and I think I say this to all my audiences, that, you know, your vote, my vote, it's going to matter, but it's not going to vote. It's not going to mean anything significantly. I'm a firm believer you got to stay in your own lane. You got to make your grass greener right underneath your feet. Sometimes we think that the grass is greener somewhere else, and it's really not. We got to make it green right where it is. I just think that a lot of us are just extremely overloaded. We can't let our mind overload our back. I say that, often, but hiring is really important. And I'm telling you from personal experience, we try to invite people, salon owners, to come to our salon and talk to our students. And, there's all kinds of excuses. I'm not a public speaker. I can't talk. I can't speak in front of people. However, anybody can talk to anybody if they know what you're about. You're not a good speaker if you don't know what you're talking about and you're trying to BS somebody. You know what I mean? So you got to be very authentic, and you got to be able to learn what you've learned throughout the years, and there's so many ways that we can learn. I know one thing for sure, and I think most of your audience will agree with me. We all have the same 24 hours. What you do with it is up to you. That's really the bottom line.
Can I pause you for a second? Talking about speaking on camera.
Yes.
I've heard so many salon owners that say, I know I should be going live in my salon to show them what we have. And I know I should be, pumping up the stylist on social media, but I just can't get on camera. And my suggestion to them, and I'm sure I'd love to hear your feedback, is you're just choosing to be afraid of it. And that is okay. But what's not okay is the day and age that we are living in. If you're not a great speaker, take classes, just practice. It will come. And who cares if you mess up some words? I mess up words every single day of my life. But you know what? I still get on camera and I still get to meet really good people. It doesn't mean you have to be the best speaker. People will notice you more when you're on and showing them what you have in your salons. Do you agree to that?
100%. It's easy to talk about what you already know and what you're doing. You just got to put it into context. But now I'll be perfectly honest with you. Did I take Toastmasters International? Yes. Did I compete in, I won up until the 7th speak that I spoke, and I got beat in Connecticut, but I spoke. It's Toastmasters. One of the things that I can offer to your audience, take a Carnegie course. It's a 2-week program. One of the best programs I've ever
What
taken.
was that one?
Dale Carnegie.
Oh yeah. Okay.
They have it everywhere in the country. They have a Chamber of Commerce. They have it, a Toastmasters International. They have it every place you go. They have it. They do it individually. You see it on Facebook. You see it on Instagram. It's out there for the making for each and every one of us. It's probably one of the best programs that I've ever taught. That I was ever taught. And you never stop. I'm a student every day of my life. If you look behind me, I got a library. I got 1,000 books in my library. And sometimes, I just come in my office here and I just sit down and I walk out, feel smarter. You know what I mean? I don't even pick up a book. It's like a meatball marinated in spaghetti sauce, if you will.
Yep.
But that's up to the individual. One of the things they talk about, and we're not going to get off topic, but personal development is really important. That's you, Tracy. That's me. Look at the people that you're around and you get educated, and constantly every single day you're learning. And, I always say this, you only can give people what you know, period. You can't give people something that you don't know. That's why the most successful people today spend at least an hour a day on personal development, whether it's they're pitching and catching, they're listening to you, they're listening to all the people in your audience. It's a phenomenal platform. Salontraining.com is a phenomenal platform. And I'm just not telling you that because I know you or you're my friend or whatever. You're a wonderful lady. It's there for the making for each and every one of us. And it's so important. But anyways, getting back to the topic about hiring. And, as I was saying to you, as I travel to the United States, I just don't see a sign in the ground that just says help wanted. Now I'm seeing signs that say help wanted in every department. Yep. And I'm going to tell you something. Every one of us, including myself, we're having difficulty finding really good people to work with us. In my personal opinion is forget about defunding the police. We have to defund the welfare, because get these people to work again and work with us and work together. They have an opportunity now. They can pick and choose who they want to work for and be in an environment where you're going to learn, you're going to grow, you're going to develop, you're going to become more. You know what I mean? The worst position anybody could ever be in is on the fence. When you're in a situation that's unresolved, you're not either in the game or you're not out of the game. You got to be in one of the two. You can't do both. You got to pick one. And I think that's extremely important when it comes down to building your business. Everybody says, "Oh, I'm going to build a salon. I'm going to build a school. I want to do this. I want to do that." And then they sit back and they go, well, my salon's my baby. Well, guess what? It's not your baby. Your babies are at home. That's your business. You know, you get something out of your business. You get flexibility and freedom and you make more money, but you got to be willing to put the work in. You know what I mean? You got to put the effort in. It takes a lot of effort. And I think what you're doing in salon training, it's allowing these people to condense decades into days, because the people that you're talking to, the people that you're interviewing, the people that are on your show have a massive amount of experience. And that's the name of the game. You can't read this shit in a textbook. I don't care what anybody says.
Yes, you have to be willing to reach out to them and ask for help. I mean, I think sometimes people are so like, well, I've owned a business for 20 years. I know what I'm doing. Really?
Absolutely.
Do you know everything about social media now? Do you know everything about the new colors? You don't know everything. Reach out to someone that's really great at it. So your topic is hiring for the right reasons. So what are the right reasons?
Well, number one is you really got to go to war for talent. That's number one. And if you don't go to war for talent, you're done, as far as I'm concerned. Now, that doesn't mean that, you know, sometimes people hire because that particular person has potential. That's a good thing. Or they might have experience. Now, it doesn't mean that they have potential and experience. It doesn't mean that they're going to fit into your culture. Your culture, by far, is the best kept secret in any business today. People got to pitch and catch. People got to get along with each other. People got to like one another. Hey, listen, my building is 10,000 square feet. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous, whatever you want to think it is. But I'm going to say this to you. Without those people, I just got a big empty building.
True.
And that's what people don't realize. And you know what? If you don't have Raven fan customers and you don't love your customers make paychecks payable. So can you teach personality? Can you teach potential? Can you teach experience? Can you teach that? I don't know. You know, once somebody makes their mind up and they're the person that they are, you can't change anybody. You can be the best leader in the world. If you try to change somebody, you're going to kill yourself. You can't change anybody. People got to want to change themselves. You know what I mean? And in addition to that, Tracy, guess what? It's easy to do the wrong thing. You know that. It's easy to do the wrong thing. It's a lot harder to do the right thing.
Very true.
And sometimes you say, Paul, these people have their business for 20 years. Well, guess what? They've been doing 20 years. They've been doing the same thing for 20 years. They haven't gone up or down. They say, well, I got a business. I own a business. Let me tell you something. There's a lot more than just stamping your name painted over the front door. It's invariable hard work. Believe me when I tell you.
I know you're friends with Gino Ciamporo. I'll tell you one of the things I remember listening to one of his talks one time that I actually do whenever I was hiring, and it worked tremendously. When you say about you can't hire personality and that you can't, and that can't be trained. He said, you know what? One of the really cool things is drop a pen, drop a pencil. He said, see if that interview person will come up and pick it up for you. And he said that will tell you the character if they're a servant leader. Because if they are a servant to you during an interview, they're going to be servant to their clients. And I said, you know what? That is awesome. Because you'll see if they go to do it or they're like, you know, something like that. And you can immediately see the attitude. And I said, yep, that's a good one.
So true. Gina's a great guy and he's got a lot of knowledge and experience. He's somebody to be surrounded by. And it's just, it's totally amazing. Now, so is it potential as experience? But I always say that they can't have potential. They can't have experience. However, they got to fit into the culture. That's really your secret weapon. Okay. My recommendation, the third one would be make sure that they're coachable. Okay. Now that pen and that pencil example that you just gave is a perfect example. Is the individual coachable? So if they pick up the pen, if they pick up the pencil, do they take the initiative? Do they do it on their own without being told what to do? That's a good person. That's something you cannot teach. Okay. But it goes down to the culture. It goes down if they get along with the people in the organization. Let me say this to you. People don't leave salons. People don't leave schools. People don't leave independent contractors, and people don't leave booth renters. People leave people. It's people that are not getting along. If you asked anybody, whether it's the hair industry or whether it's outside the industry, why did you leave your company? They would not tell you because these people offered me more money. They would tell you, I never got along with my boss. This girl, this guy, whoever's in the organization they were too negative. They were too toxic. I didn't get along with them. I had to move forward. That's usually what happens. So I think that you got to make sure that the person is coachable, meaning that they have an open mind, they want to learn, they want to grow, they want to develop. They don't think they know it all. That's the kind of person you got to bring into your organization. And sometimes you don't find that out for a long period of time, maybe a year, maybe it's 6 years, so maybe it's 7 years. I have no idea, but it's a long period of time because people don't change. They can put up a front, like I always say that people have 2 suitcases, so you interview the first person for the first time and they bring in the good suitcase. Okay. And then after about 6 months, you go, well, geez, where the heck did this person come from? Well, that's the second suitcase you left in the trunk. You didn't see that one. That's the bullshit and everything else that's in there that nobody saw, because you got to hire because you want the person, not because you necessarily need that person, but you want to hire him because he's a good person and they're gonna gel into your organization. Hey, listen, Tracy, everybody's not gonna like me. Everybody's not gonna like you. Don't take anything in this industry personal. You know what I mean? You're not going to please everybody. You're going to kill yourself if you try. You know what I'm saying? And some people might like it. Some people might don't. They might have their, everybody's entitled to their opinion. This is my opinion. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's not absolutely, but that's all it is their opinion. So don't take things personal, period. Next one, character. What's their character like? I could see you and I could go up to you and I could hug you and I could hold you. And it doesn't mean other than thank you. Thank you. It's just another way of showing you I appreciate what you've done. You as a person. That's the character.
Don't you think like a lot of hairdressers are kind of in that category? Not all of them, but do you think like in our industry, we're like huggers?
Yeah, I would say the majority of them are.
I remember whenever my husband and I start dating, he's like, "Why do you hug everybody?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's just me. I just like hug." I don't do it as much now since COVID, I have to admit. But
yeah. It's very well said. Very good. Very well said. And that's part of the character. And in our industry, we're very lovable. We're caring. We're serving. We're still the only industry that allows people to touch other people, and no matter how big the social media platform gets, nobody's ever going to take our job because it's in our hands, it's in our mind. We're still touching human beings. We still have the ability to make people look good. We're in business to make people feel good about themselves. No social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, chit chat, Snapchat, whatever the hell it is. No, nothing.
I know there's so many.
It's crazy. Okay. The next thing is they're happy and they got to love people. When? All the time. You got to love people all the time. You got to be happy. I mean, you're in a position, you never know sitting in your chair and you cannot judge a book by its cover. Now, that goes down to, it starts with your personality. It starts with how happy you are. You got to love people. You don't know who's sitting in your chair. I can tell you stories that bring tears to your eyes that in our school, in our salon, you don't know if the person going through a divorce. You don't know whether or not they're having chemotherapy or radiation. You can't judge a book by its cover, not by the way they're dressed or anything. Can you tell whether they're a type A or type B? Yes. If a type A personality, somebody a little bit more aggressive, they're more certain, they're more outgoing, they're very creative, they know exactly what they want. A type B personality, somebody that's laid back, that's more conservative, that takes a little bit longer to make a decision, so you got to know what a type A and a type B personality is. You learn it in psychology, you learn it in college, but I teach that, when I do my Book Solid program or how to be a successful leader or master your leadership. That's an important concept because you're able to read people. The person that puts their hand out first has the most confidence. You should address people by their first name. You should say, thank you. I appreciate you. It's the little things that make the difference. So that comes down to happiness and loving people. When all the time, you got to treat your 9 o'clock client just as well as your 5 or 6 o'clock client at night. If you hire a person that doesn't have this kind of personality, guess what? They don't fit in. It's not that they're a bad person.
I'm sure we could all tell stories about business. And this brings me back to many years when I first opened my salon and I would hire whoever. Like, I don't know, they just want a job here. Yep, I'm going to hire them. And I had a girl that was amazing technically. I mean, she'd run circles around me, anybody else in the salon. She was great. Her personality, she didn't like people at all. And she told me that. She's like, I don't like people. I just like hair. She said, if I didn't have to talk to them, I'm going to do hair all day. And I hired her. Like, back in the day, I wouldn't think about that now, of course.
Right.
But I mean, the conversations that I heard from clients and listen, I'm like, oh yeah, you can't, it wasn't in my culture. Obviously, I didn't keep her very long and stuff. But you're right. You have to love people. You're working on them.
Yeah. And Tracy, it's you're not always going to hit a home run. I never had all great clients. I had clients I wanted to get rid of, and I don't want to do the hair anymore. And same thing with other people in the salon. Clients make our students cry. They upset them. That's where you got to find this person. This person is not got to be a harsh person. They got to be gentle and caring. Here's the key: they have to understand where that person is coming from. And I want to say this again: customers make paychecks payable. If you don't get yourself right, you'll never get the client right. That's why when we talk about hiring, you got to hire on personality characteristics and whether or not they're coachable. And if they're coachable, and then you go to war for talent, doesn't necessarily mean that I've seen this in the 27 years I've owned my school, that I'll take an average stylist, that's got a great personality, a great attitude, not such a great stylist. And he will, or she will, go by this other stylist that's more talented, but doesn't have a great personality, like they're standing still. A perfect example, Jimmy Overbaugh. He worked for me for about 35 years. Was he the best hair colorist? No. Was he the best hair cutter? No. Great personality. Love people. I mean, he'd screw up, he'd do a bob, and one side would be shorter than the other. The client would come back the next day and say, hey, Jimmy, we talk so much that this side is shorter than the other side. Sit your ass down in the chair. I'll fix it right now. 2 seconds. Yep. Now, if there was anybody else, if he didn't have a great personality and he wasn't up to par, that person would go to another salon and get it fixed. No question in my mind. Lastly, I want to say this to you. I always do 4 interviews. And I don't want to hear you don't have time. You hire on desperation. You hire on a shoestring. It doesn't work. You got to take your time in hiring and make sure that person is the right fit and they want it. They want to work for you. They heard things about you. And listen, whether it's the millennial group, whether it's the iGen, whether it's the X generation, whether it's the baby boomers, whether it's the traditionalists, it doesn't matter. What's most important, that person, the chemistry is there. If you look at any sports team, whether it's basketball, football, hockey, soccer, 2 teams can be as equally as good. The team that has the best chemistry is going to win the championship. That means that these people get along. If you look at the most successful salons, okay, they're the ones that make things tick. I have the opportunity on January 9th. I'm going to be speaking for Van Council. He probably has one of the largest salons and schools in Atlanta, Georgia. And he wants me to talk about customer service. And great guy, great operation. I made phenomenal lines. But he prides himself on people getting along. And when you get along, that's how you engage.
Cool. Albie says hi, by the way.
Who?
Albie. Hi.
Oh.
Hi, Albie.
Hi, Albie. Great guy, great hairdresser, phenomenal.
Yeah. I got to see him in Ohio cutting. He was awesome.
He is. He's phenomenal. In any event, so the morale has to be up to par under any circumstances. You got to put your ego to a side. I've always been a servant leader my entire life, and servant leaderships does 2 things. They always put people first, and they always provide opportunities for people in your organization. When you're a servant leader and you love people and you care about people, you're going to have a tendency to attract that type of person as well. You're just not going to fill the chair and put a body in the chair. Anybody can do that, but you got to take the initiative. We in our school, we invite all the salons within a 50-mile radius, and some of them come, some of them don't come, but the ones that don't come are the ones that would call and say, oh, you have a good stylist, you have this, do you have a good student, you have it. No, you got to come in, you got to talk to these students, give these students the opportunity. There's many of them. And this industry is changing, and you know this, that we need approximately 750,000 stylists within the next 10 years. That's 750,000 stylists we're going to need. There's
And
one
how-
point,
And how long? How many years?
10 years. Okay. And the cream is going to go to the top. You're seeing that now. There's a lot of salons closing. There's a lot of schools closing, and there's a reason for it. They're not up to par. They don't hire the right people. They say, well, we can't find instructors. We can't find directors. You're not trying hard enough. They're out there. And listen to me, you got to pay these people. You pay somebody peanuts, you're going to get a monkey. You know what I mean? You got to pay them. Now, I'm not saying to overpay them, put them on a 90-day probationary, pick and choose. But everybody, when you're talking about hiring, everybody should be on a 90-day probationary period. And you should interview them 30, 60, and 90 days. Not just don't wait, just don't do it. Hey, listen, I want to know how the hell I'm doing. You can evaluate me. I would love that. I need to evaluate you. I gotta say, how you doing? That's why you say all the time, how's this? How's that? Should we do this better? Can we do this better? We're constantly tweaking things. We're trying to get better. Not any different than hiring. If you don't communicate with your people and you don't let them know how they're doing, game's over. No question about it.
Yep.
Everybody wants to know how well they're doing. There's no question.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So Tracy, that's it. I think it's, you want to talk about growth. You want to talk acknowledgement and recognition. That's all part of hiring. And the whole downside to this whole thing. And if you don't hire the right people, what happens when the team doesn't get along? That's when people start leaving you. And if you ever walk out, nobody should ever walk out of any salon. I don't care who they are. Everybody thinks the grass is always green. Go across the street for 5% more. Doesn't mean it's going to be any better. No matter where you go, you're always taking yourself with you. I don't care who you are. You can't
always
take
taking yourself with you. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's really the bottom line. So that downside of the chaos and the attitude and the toxicity, the energy level goes down, the passion goes down, their focus is broken, and it leads to bad decisions. And that's what happens when you have toxic people that you hire. Everybody's not going to get along with everybody, but you got to divorce yourself from toxic people because they don't bring you any value, and everybody thinks that it's all about the money. It's not about the money. We had this conversation last week. I spoke in Louisville, Kentucky, and we had this conversation that they fired 10 NFL coaches this year. 10. Now, one coach got $46 million a month. Okay? You think he'd cash in and say, I'm happy, the happiest guy in the world? You and I would. We couldn't spend that in our lifetime. But it's not about that. It's about their ego. It's about their prestige. It's I'm the best coach. I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm taking this team to the Super Bowl. It's not about the money. So at the end of the day, it's really not about the money. It's about the heart and the soul and the care and the loving. People getting along, people pitching their cats together. And then guess what? The money will follow you. I never chased money when I was younger. It wasn't until I was older, then it probably was only up until the last probably 10 or 15 years. But it takes time. Everything takes time. There's a lot of rungs on the ladder. And you can't use the rung on the bottom as a bed. You got to climb the ladder. But you can't go from the first rung to the 20th rung. It doesn't work that way. You got to hit every single step.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
You got to put the time in, and whenever they're hired at your salon, they have to put the time in, of course, too. So just to recap, hiring for the right reasons. You had first said talent. Of course, yeah, that's great. You would need to see that they have potential talent or they have talent for sure. Culture. Culture is huge. I'm such an advocate of that too, because if they don't fit in your culture, it can ruin the entire salon. They have to fit making sure that they help create raving fans. Like your salon has to create raving fans for them to want to work in your salon to begin with. You can't teach personality. They have to be coachable. I really love the 2 suitcase things because you're right. Like they do come in, everybody comes in at the interview. Look, oh, I'm perfect. My hair's done and my makeup's done. And then the next time it's like, oh, my makeup's done, but my hair's not done, or this, or my nails are not polished or whatever. So
Right.
people do have different trunks. That's great fun. So,
Well, we're in the fashion industry. You got to look good, right? I mean, your clients are going to model you. If you look shabbily, then guess what? You're going to have shabbily clients. They're going to give you a $2 tip. Sure, when I'm at a chair, they should knock on the bathroom door and slide it under the door and say, hey, here's your money, Paul. Or I'll be shampooing somebody else and they'd be looking at my pockets and figuring out where the hell to put it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's what it's all about, And by the way, 25% in our industry, more than a waiter or waitress, because it's a personal service. And then the better job that you do, and they pick up their handheld mirror, they look at the front, they look at the back, they go, shit, I look 10 years younger. That's worth $50.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Absolutely. And okay, so we're just going to be closing on. You are going to be at the show that's at Seven Springs Mountain Resort.
Can't wait.
Huh?
Can't wait.
Okay. Yep. April 24th and 25th. Tickets are on sale now. If you are watching this in October, you get to have a really good discount only till October 31st. Ticket sales technically go on sale November 1st. That's when the tickets went on sale. We put them out a little bit early and said, you know what, let's give them a discount. And I know that they've been selling really, really well. So if you want to grab that discount, go ahead and do it now. Right on the homepage, you can find out more information. And Paul, I know you're teaching quite a few classes there. Monday, you're teaching more for business owners, salon owners, and stylists. And on Tuesday, you have a class for students. So if you're in cosmetology school and you're listening to this, jump in Paul's class. If you're a cosmetology teacher, please jump in Paul's class. So you guys, you have a lot of information.
Instructors too. Next, we're gonna have a class for instructors as well. Right?
Oh, at the show. Oh, yes. At the show. Yeah, definitely.
So we have to do it for everybody, Yeah. How to be a super instructor and beyond the classroom. I think it's extremely important, So,
yeah. And during the VIP party, go give Paul a hug.
I'll give him a hug as well. Yeah. Yeah. That's
all right. Well, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you in April, and I'm sure we'll talk before then.
Thank you, Tracy. I appreciate everything you're doing for our industry. Keep going and stay strong.
Thanks. See you.
And live with passion, baby.
Bye.
Bye.